evening, good night. Welcome to the show, what a wonderful delight. Yeah, Potsy and T-Rods, better chop up on the mic. Just sit back, have a laugh, catch a vibe, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
So, man, it's been a long journey. It's been a long time. We haven't spoken.
We speak pretty regularly, but no,
just not in this setting. But
no, we haven't done a podcast
in a while. I mean, we've both been busy. We both had a lot of different life things going on.
Well, speak for yourself.
I mean, yours came to
you're working, man. It's so funny how that flipped.
Yes, very busy, man. I've been busy calling games, running a gym. Basketball 24/7, and your life was basketball 24/7, and now it's not.
Irony. That's life. But yeah, no, bro. I think now that especially some time has passed, I think I'm done, bro. I think I've.
That's it.
I got all the basketball out of me. I don't know.
So, I know we've talked about it for obviously since the end of the season with your time in Phoenix, but when was it really all right, this is really a realization?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't even just last season. I think it was just maybe a season or two before. I think the year before my last year with the Magic, I started getting hurt a lot, and I was getting weird injuries. I'm starting to lose cartilage in my knees and starting to sting a little bit, just doing normal things I've always been able to do. And then, my back was horrible going out, and I think just for real, it was horrible.
My back
it was
gone.
So bad. It was shot. I've been hit by a freaking fucking truck, bro. But nah, man. I had that back shit, and I had all that numbness down my leg. And it was crazy. And then I think it was just the progression of just how, everything was going. I don't know. For me, it was just more so I was feeling kind of miserable towards the last 2 years where I'm gone all the time. My kids are getting older, family, it's kind of living, their life and having fun. And not that, it wasn't a good feeling to provide and stuff, but at the end of the day, it was just bro, me, I'm super low key and chill. I just want to be at home with the kids, and just being on the road was just becoming draining. And I don't know. I don't think people realize how much we're gone, and I miss so many holidays, so many birthdays, so many, family events, and I'm legit on the road, just chilling half the time, not doing too much. So I don't know, just a lot of things just start to kind of weigh heavy on me, and it's just it was just being in that space, bro. It just wasn't. It wasn't, waking me out of bed every morning with the smile on my face that I used to. And you know how it is. It's a business.
Yeah. And what you talked about is true. It's that when your kids are super young and they're really infant, it's not the same now that you have actual interactions. They're playing sports. You're going to events. You're having, they're actually knowing what a holiday is.
No, facts. I think just having to kind of, I feel me. I feel like I had a family a little early on, but now I'm getting to the point where they're pretty much not grown, but they're at an age where they're starting
the same situation.
Yeah, for sure. So and how it is, man. I'm starting to see how much I love being at home and starting to enjoy my family, just being playing the dad role and just being a part of my family. Mm-hmm. It's tough, man. I don't think people realize it. And
man, you're getting me emotional over here.
Oh yeah, but no, man, it's
a real family man, a family man, Ross.
For sure. Everybody has different tolerances for different things, and people.
It's true, man. I mean, I was in Europe, and I know that was different, but it was even tough being over there because it's I was so disconnected. At least in the NBA, you have some for sure. You're gonna see them at least during the week sometime at some point.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But man, that's great. So it's official. You're retiring. Is there official papers that you have to sign? So how does that even work?
So I think to officially be labeled as retired is it has to be a year from your last contract. So and
so you're still a free agent. You're still a free agent.
Yeah, I'm technically still a free agent. I'm not gonna lie, but I just don't see myself coming back. I'm not missing it one bit. I'm doing stuff I never got to do now. I'm starting to live, my life a little bit, and Jeez, bro. Let me tell you, it's cool. I'm loving it. I'm getting to do me. I'm getting to hang out.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're
travel,
traveling.
so.
Yeah, you're traveling. You're doing stuff with your fam.
Yeah, bro. So it's hard to really, not to say like I'm super grateful for my career. I wouldn't change anything. You know me, like I didn't think I was ever going to the NBA until literally the 6 months leading up to it. So to have a journey like this was amazing. I couldn't think like the basketball gods more. I had a great tenure in Toronto, Orlando, a little stint in Phoenix, but I got to live my dream, bro. I got to really go out there and play with my idols growing up. Like, you know us, we were big basketball fans. So like for me to even have the opportunity to do what I did and to play as long as I did, have the moments I had, meet all of my idols from Kobe to just all the guys I idolized growing up, and to play for 11 years was for me storybook. So like I have no hard feelings about, walking away or, this or that. Like I feel like I made my little mark. People are gonna remember me for whatever I did and my times in Toronto and Orlando. But bro, I feel like right now I'm making a great decision. I'm happy. I mean, and we'll see what comes next. Like for the time being though, I don't want to do a fucking thing. I don't want to move.
I know.
I don't want to travel. I travel
know.
a little bit, but like I do not want to see an airplane. I just need to be at the home. And like, bro, you know me. Like now I'm coaching my son's football team.
There you
taking
go.
my daughter to school. Like I get to spend time with my kids in like a normal fashion, just not like, all right, well, dad's out for a week or dad's here or there. Like, oh, I gotta reschedule it. Like
you got a little Belichick in you. You got a little Belichick in you, flag football.
Bro, you've seen it. You've seen it, man. You've seen it.
Well, your son's the best player out there.
No, he's not.
No,
he's not. I love him to death. He is not. The football league is between like one. There was not enough kids this year, so they made between first and third graders, right? Bro, our best player on our team is a first grader.
Wow.
He's Christian McCaffrey. He's Christian McCaffrey. I promise you, bro. Little white kid, blonde hair, running back, but he knows how to catch, run, cut, make reads, make blocks. He's very advanced for his age, and I've seen nothing like it. Like, and anytime we just need, if it's third and long or if it's fourth down, just give him the ball.
Yeah,
and he's going straight to the grip. But like we have a ton of little kids out there with some talent. We have a little mini Josh Allen. We got a couple of sneaky kids, and it's so funny. Our best defensive player, she's a girl, and her name is Harper.
Wow, it's my daughter.
Crazy.
My daughter wouldn't even touch a football field, but yeah,
wouldn't even touch a football. But it's crazy. So getting to do stuff like that at home, man, it makes it.
Yeah,
I'm not missing anything, bro. I'm playing trips ahead. Like I'm more excited for that than to go play.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. Well, let's get into kind of your career and just let's kind of go through the steps and where you were. I mean, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of.
There's honestly not. There's not. There's really not. There's really not. I played for two teams.
No, I know, but let's start with your years in Toronto. You get drafted. You show up Toronto as a young buck, just fresh out of Seattle via Vancouver, via LA or
West Coast.
Yeah, basically West Coast. You show up in Toronto. Talk about those early days in Toronto and just like showing up. Like, do you remember that first day that you got off the plane in Toronto?
I do only because it was, besides me going to Toronto for just to get inaugurated to start the season, I got my driver's license that day. That morning, I was
the day I didn't have to drive you anymore.
Yeah, I know. The day you didn't have to pick me up anymore. No, I was in my 20s, bro. I had to be like 21. I was super freaking. No, was I 21?
You probably were. You're pretty old.
I was pretty old. Because I didn't have a car up until then.
Wait, so you got your driver's license after when you went to the NBA?
Bro, literally when I went to the league. I remember I bought the car and still didn't have a license.
So you probably you're probably about 21 or 20.
And this is how I know, right? So the day I had to report to Toronto, it was like a 1 p.m. flight out of Oregon, right? But freaking I was like, okay, that's enough time for me to schedule my driver's test, whatever, the driver's part. And so, and it's crazy too, because I just bought a new car before I even took the test, right?
That was
it
the Charger,
Dodge,
right?
Yeah, Dodge
Yeah.
Challenger. It was like
Or
the little
Challenger.
red one on rims and everything. So I pull up in that and I'm waiting for dude. And I know how to drive. Like I was whipping, my little shorties whipping college, like with no license or nothing up and down the streets of Seattle. No problems, right? So I know what I'm doing. So I get the test, boom, I go through it, yada, yada. And the next thing you know, the guy's like, didn't you just get drafted? I was like, yeah. And honestly, I got to get out of here to get a flight. He was like, you're good, bro. We'll just take us back and we'll just get you the paper license. And I was like, all right, cool. Did that, went straight to, not even did. So I rented a freaking Range Rover from, Nas, a super fan that sits courtside. Yeah, he had a super huge car dealership. So, yeah, man, it worked out. I got the car. As soon as I got there, I had a paper license, bro. I've never seen nothing like that. I didn't think they was going to let me out the lot with that thing. So,
no.
Yep, I had that. And then, I don't know, bro. That was like probably my day one first memory is just feeling like, damn, I am fucking in the NBA driving around in Toronto in a Range Rover. Like, I was like, in that point in my young mind, I was like, I made it. I don't care what else happens, bro. Like, I wasn't supposed to do this. Like, I can't believe I made it to NBA.
Who was the first player that you met when you got in Toronto? Do you remember that?
DeMar. It was before I even, it's before I went back to Toronto because like during the draft, like everybody's gone. It's the middle of July or end of June, whatever the two. But we ended up flying to Toronto, me, QAC, and then we did our media, and then I flew back to Santa Monica where I was staying for pre-draft. And I remember for that couple of weeks not doing anything, DeMar would come, scoop me up, go work out, take me to his house. We just hang out. Like we had other teammates over there too. So it was like that early on, like getting the sense like, okay, this is Debo's team. This is his team. This is how we go. And I had a great vet, man. I couldn't be, any more thankful for that. But yeah, I think it was DeMar.
Yeah, I mean, you had a chance, you go in there with, just looking at the roster. I'm looking at the roster right now. I mean, you had guys like Rudy Gay. This is your first year. Rudy Gay. You have Sebastian Telfair, Jonas Valanciunas, Landry Fields. Yep. Andre Variani. I know we always talked about him and joked about him.
Chuck Hayes.
Amir Johnson.
John Salmons. No, that was after the Rudy Gay. Yeah. So Rudy, once we traded Rudy away, we got like Pat Patterson, Graves Vasquez, Chuck Hayes, and John Salmons. Are you talking about a dude that's super old, bro? Like I was watching John when I was like 9, 10 years old.
Dude, your rookie year, the oldest guy on your team was Michael Pietrus.
Oh, MP for sure.
Dude, that's crazy. I didn't even know he played.
Yeah, he played in Toronto with me for a year.
That's crazy. We used
to, shooting around, we used to bet our per diem. And he used to give me all his per diem on our road trips. It was great.
Well, damn. Give us one of your favorite memories though from Toronto.
Definitely the 51 game. That was crazy. It's crazy too. Being in Canada, nobody really. It's harder for my family and you guys to kind of get there.
Yeah.
But I remember Noah, my homie, was out there. He was supposed to leave the day of the game. Like when I was going to shoot around, he was like, "Yeah, I'm about to head to the airport." And so I was out there solo adult, and he was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna stay an extra day." He stayed the extra day. I dropped 50, and I just remember at least I had somebody from home to experience this moment with me because I would have been out there. So like that memory would have probably faded in time. But I just remember after that night, man, like I feel like it kind of changed a little bit. I think everybody kind of saw me a little different, kind of understood. It's like, yeah, I could ball. Like I had game. So, but that day was crazy. I would definitely say win the dunk contest. I have it. I'm looking at it dead in the face right here. It's like 2 feet away from me.
I think that's another thing.
That's another thing. And it was in my rookie year. And that's what made it like even that much more surreal. It was like already being in the NBA was just crazy. And then having I didn't even necessarily outright have the opportunity to get to the dunk contest. I had to campaign. I remember my whole thing was let Ross dunk. So every time they would I would get a dunk in the tank. It would just hashtags would pop up and then they would run with that. So just to kind of get my way into the dunk contest and then actually go out there and win it against guys like James White, Kenneth Faried. Who else is in there? Gerald Green.
James White was insane.
Yeah, Gerald Green was in it. So to go out there and actually win a dunk contest was super surreal.
You know what's funny? I was playing a game when you won it at Idaho. Yeah. And I came out of the tunnel at halftime and I just glanced at my mom and she was mouthing something to me. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing? And she was telling me that you won the dunk contest. This is at halftime of my game. Yeah. But yeah, it was a random thought. I remember that, just thinking,
just like,
what the hell? Yeah, what the hell?
Definitely not thinking.
Yeah,
that's what.
Yeah, I wasn't even. Sure. I don't even remember the dunk contest.
You're like, Mom, it's halftime right now. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to win. Yeah, I'm a freshman. I don't know or a sophomore. I don't know. Yeah, were you a sophomore or junior?
No, that would have been my junior year.
Yeah, it was junior year. Yeah, you were just like, I'm trying to get. Yeah, you're trying. I'm trying to get
buckets. Yeah. Exactly. Back to Toronto. I mean, Toronto. Obviously, I had some chances to go up there and visit you while you were there. Crazy, yes. So actually, let's talk about my favorite moment. My favorite moment was I gotta go to Toronto for Canada Day.
For Canada Day,
and I might have had a few too many drinks that day, and I had a flag, a Canadian flag.
We were both. I was for sure drunk. I drank and drove that day. I won't even lie to you guys. Now that I'm retired, I can say it. I was drinking and driving. Bro, that was crazy because we went to a bar called Doc Ellis.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know about Doc Ellis, he was a famous baseball pitcher back in the 70s or late 70s. He threw a no-hitter. Yeah, for the Pirates. He threw a no-hitter while high on LSD. So that was a bar that I don't know why it stuck out to us, but they had the games. We played like shuffleboard, pool, foosball. They had all that. But so we went there on Canada Day.
I never knew what Canada Day was. I didn't know what it was, and Terrence told me, and it's on July 1st, right?
Yeah. No. Were we there summertime? Was it a summertime thing?
This is a summertime thing.
Summertime thing.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. Oh no, wait. Yeah,
no.
Is it? Yeah, because
we celebrate Canada Day, bro.
Yeah, Canada Day, because
pull it up.
I'm pretty sure it's July 1st because 4th of July is America.
Nope, might be.
Yes, I was right. July 1st. All right. So
July 1st. So it's okay. Summer thing.
So Terrence tells me, he's like, yo, they celebrate their Independence Day on July 1st. It's Canada Day, rah, rah, rah. I am the furthest thing from Canadian. Actually, probably not that far from Canadian, but
closer you think.
Yeah, I'm born in the Pacific Northwest and I'm very white. So I get a hold of a Canadian flag and I am out there
driving and he's just out the window screaming at people like Happy Canada Day. I'm just it's like reel it in, buddy, reel it in.
It was wild though. There's people everywhere. I mean, in the downtown, the downtown area of Toronto is so diverse and so crazy. And that kind of leads me into my next thing. Like, talk to us about the party scene in Toronto.
Oh, bro, yeah. I mean, did you ever make it out to?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
That was a summertime though.
No,
so during the season, I had more of a routine just because like I kind of knew the ins and outs of like what the vibe was, and that's the one thing I was kind of thankful. I could say back looking in hindsight, what I was more thankful for. Like I had a little more leeway to go out and then kind of have fun just because I knew at the end of the day, coach is going to put DeMar and Kyle in. And they're going to bring it home for it. So I got to experience a lot of the nightlife. And I would say it was amazing, too, because for me, I got to be in Toronto at a time where Drake and The Weeknd started to become like these super global icons and like these superstars. So the city was just in a different place, and just being able to see celebrities like Drake and The Weeknd and they show love and say what's up to you or post on Instagram, something like that. Like that is super cool. Like that one was an experience in its own right. So like having to say what's up to those guys and just being cool. Like I think that was also like a super positive or a plus to just being in Toronto and playing for the team.
Yeah. And it was crazy because I can't remember. Was it called Underground or what was it? Lost and Found?
It was called Lost and Found. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time I ever was in Toronto, I was out there and you were like, let's go see this guy named Post Malone. And I was like, who the heck's Post Malone?
Oh yeah. We did go to a Post Malone concert.
So Terrence is like, yo, you gotta go see Post Malone. He has a song called White Iverson. I'm like, who is this guy? And it was funny because you're like, bro, it's cool. Like all the black guys listen to him. He's good. He's good.
I didn't know. I was like White Iverson. You were like, who's White Iverson? I was like, bro, it's this dude named Post Malone.
All my teammates are listening to it, and I was like, all right, let's go. And so we go to Lost and Found. It's my first time ever being there, and I've been there after that. We went a few more times, but
he was like in a booth right across from us.
Well, it's a tiny place. It's like you're literally like in a plane, and it's underground, and it's just straight to the end. And Post Malone was performing on the stage, and we had a booth right there. It was completely packed. But this is before he was even like famous.
This is before he was Post Malone. This is like he was like SoundCloud rapping type shit.
He's like smoking a cig on stage, drinking bottles on stage. Like it was
singing White Iverson in Toronto. Wild time. How do I not remember that?
That's
what I'm saying. Like looking back on the last 10 to 12 years, like so much crazy nonsense has happened. It's just like I don't take time to ever think or reflect.
Yeah. And then the last story before we move on from Toronto, the chance to, experience All-Star Weekend as like a group of homies. We all came out there. I was still playing at the time, but I had a chance to get away in December. Yeah. Or it was January. Or wait, no.
Yeah, because February. You're always busy towards that time. Yeah, February. And
because I just had left Europe and came back. So I had a few times. So then it was like, Shadi, Noah, and we got to go out there and have some of the homies experience like All-Star Weekend, even though it was like -3. Yeah, it was still crazy.
That was different for me too, because that was the first time like I went to All-Star, but not a part of like the festivities and stuff. So I got to kind of experience that like it's just a normal person just walking around. And it was cool because like playing for Toronto, like going to these clubs are for sure just gonna let you in and show you up. So we got to move around and do a whole bunch of stuff that weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
it was also fucking freezing.
It was it was one of the coldest places I've ever been at. And like where your apartment or where your like condo was, it was so high up and it was right on the water and it was freezing.
And we were like we're 3 blocks from the arena, so like it was not going anywhere. It was just death.
Yeah, I mean, good times in Toronto. But then let's talk about your transition to Orlando. Obviously, things kind of changed. Your personal life, your out, and just the way that Orlando is compared to Toronto is completely different. But I also think there was a uptick in your career because of kind of what happened. Like, I think it kind of changed you. I saw a difference in you. So talk about that transition.
No, for sure. Definitely coming from, a big city in a sense to like a small city, big town.
Retirement community.
For sure. That's kind of what Orlando is. It's definitely a smaller market, slower pace. I mean, people definitely, associate here with Disney, with family, with, just a little more chill environment, right? So having that was good because in the summertime you're a little more focused and you're not so much drawn to just we're in a big city, let's go have fun. But it was not just that, but also in parallel to my career, I went from being like the third, fourth option to now being like a more of a primary role and somebody that had a little more faith and relied on me and gave me more responsibility. So I think just having that kind of it just helps you focus, helps you realize what's going on. And my first year here, I had, especially getting traded those like 16, 17 games, like I played well. Like I fit in. They fed me the ball, they went to me. So I kind of had the sense of like, all right, you got to bring it now. And then I think the year after that, I got hurt. I think I fractured my knee.
Isn't that when you ran into Russell Westbrook?
No, he ran into me. He ran into me, bro. Like I'll never forget. Like I felt my knee crack. Like it's weird. Like my bone broke in my knee, but I could hear it in my ears when it happened. It was the weirdest thing and I knew I was hurt, bro. And I that was a horrible day. But I was out for the rest of that season. I got hurt like mid-November, and I was out pretty much the rest of that season. And then that launched me into that was like the last year of my deal. So that launched me into like rehabbing the entire season, and then going straight into that summer, just like working out. We had a new head coach. Frank Vogel had just got fired. Steve Clifford was taking over, and just like one of my earliest memories of Steve was I was already working out in the summertime, and I think I was doing like a 2-a-day type thing. So I might have been there at night, and I'm working out, getting my shots up, and I just seen Cliff up there in his office just watching, and he came down, introduced himself, said what's up, and then he just kept watching. And I think for me, that was like one of those pivotal moments in my career because I think that let him see what my ability was just out there by myself, what I was capable of, how I was shooting the ball, and then him probably studying a little bit of film. I think that kind of allowed him to be like, all right, this is how I can utilize this guy. And it was kind of a special because there was nobody else. It was just me there at night. And going into that season, man, he definitely put the ball in my hands and he let me do way more than I ever got the chance to showcase in Toronto. So I feel like that was the one coach that really, helped change the trajectory of my career. And I mean, just even his schemes, man. He was more of an old school coach. Like, we ran a lot of plays for the 3-ball and whatnot, but that was like the first time I got to come off 2 pin downs and get to do my little Rip Hamilton drill and run here, run there, and playing off screens. And he put the ball in my hands, let me come off pick and rolls, and that's when I started hitting a ton of threes that year. So, I mean, it was definitely, I think, just a different trajectory in my career after that. But it was just a different vibe from then on out.
Talk about, okay, so like you just mentioned, your contract is coming to an end. Like, talk to people like how, like, and I'm not saying that you weren't motivated and you didn't put time in, but I felt that there was like, because I was out there working out with you some of those times, and like there just felt to be a different focus in you in your daily routine, and like, you were doing, like there was a difference in it because obviously, like, you go on to sign for $55 million or whatever it was, but it's like there's a big motivation there. Yeah, no,
I mean, definitely. I had just had my second child, so I had my family out there, and then having my second child, that was like a locked in like year for all of us. Like, we were all growing. I just had a kid. Me and my wife were trying to figure that out. And then I was home all the time, and that was like the most I got to be. That was like the start of just like having a family. And I think it's one of those things that we really can't explain until you go through it yourself. And you know how it is, man. You just, as a man, like, you just want to provide. So I think that helped me dial in, and that helped me get focused. Like, shout out to my wife. She was amazing. Like, through my whole career, man, she's been super solid, and she's really, been a soldier and give me the space to kind of be me and motivate me to do better. And I really don't think without her, like, I wouldn't even been able to get to this level of play. Like, I look at her as like an extra added motivation that helped me get through those tough days and kind of keep my head on straight and help me go through my ups and downs. But that was just a crazy year. I just felt like it was just a really big step in my personal development and my growth, and just kind of one of those cornerstone pieces of kind of who I am now. So I think that just played into the level of focus that I needed to go out there and kind of do what I did that upcoming season.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, like, more into the basketball side of the Orlando era, like, you guys had a veteran team, and then you guys pulled together some. Orlando hadn't been to the playoffs in so long, and then you guys come together as a group. And I know it was kind of short lived, but it was like something that was very special, obviously, to you and those guys. Yeah. Because you did something so amazing. Talk a little bit about that team, and just like Vooch, Fournier, Aaron Gordon, and you see all these guys go on. They've been they're being successful on other teams.
That was because, like, coming from Toronto, I was like the younger brother. I was still like the young guy on the team. So we went to the playoffs, and I got to see and get to experience like what it takes and like the level of professionalism, the poise, the dedications, the little things you need to do daily just to get to that point. Because when I got to Orlando, we had missed the playoffs for 2 straight years, and we were just not. Even the year that we made it, it didn't feel like we were going to make it until the very end. And I think that was a year I'm coming off like the injury and the really hard off season, and then I had players like Vooch, Nikola Vucevic, Evan Fournier, a young Aaron Gordon, DJ Augustine, MCW. Like, we had a lot of guys who felt like they had something to prove, and I think that just motivated us. And that year was tough. It wasn't like we had our ups and downs. We started off really slow, and we didn't start to pick it up until like pretty much right before All-Star, and then after All-Star, we went on a tear. And I think our last 20 games, I can't even remember. I remember we didn't lose more than like 10 or 11 in that last stretch. And it's different when, you have two guys like Kyle and DeMar who are spearheading the movement, but like to be a part of the guys who were responsible to getting our team there. And we even had like a young Jonathan Isaac who played and was like integral to like the development of that team. But I mean, it was special, bro, because it was all on us. We all had to play like our best collectively to go out there and just to get us to a team that would eventually win the finals. But like even taking them to like 6 games, like it was, or not even, we took them to 5. It was a gentleman's sweep, but it was a good experience, man. It gave me that confidence of like, okay, I have confidence in my ability now. Like all the work I put in, let us help lead the team here. So that was always going to be that 2018, 2019 team will always be my favorite team in the history of my career.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to watch. Honestly, that was probably like the peak of me watching NBA basketball because I don't really watch NBA basketball like that, but I always obviously like to watch you and the team, and it was fun to watch, the backdoor cuts from Aaron Gordon. Yeah. I could literally draw up the play now because I see it seen it so many times, but like. That was a really, it was really cool to see that and, see the excitement in Orlando for that fact. And, shout out to Orlando now. They got a young group of guys that are looking good, and it's cool to see that as well. All right, then your last stop, and it is crazy because like, you played for a long time and, only 3 teams. It's not, it's not that crazy.
2.5.
Yeah. And then, Phoenix, and this is our most recent. I had a chance to be out there a good amount. Talk a little bit about that. You go to like basically an old team, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant.
It was definitely an experience, but it was cool because to be on the teams I played before I got to Phoenix. I played with 3 All-Stars: Vooch, Kyle, and DeMar, and it was cool to see like those guys get All-Stars and kind of work themselves up into being who they are, but. It's different. It's a different level when you get to see guys up close like Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul. Like these guys are Hall of Famers. Like they are on a completely different level of they're all 3 of them in top 70 or on his book top 75. He's going to be top.
He will be.
To see those guys up close and to experience that level of greatness was. Even in the short time lived, it was truly special. Like I was locker mates with Kevin Durant, so it was one of those weird things where it just kind of comes full circle. Like he was a few years ahead of us, but like just seeing him turn in to go through the whole process and see where he's at in his career now, and to see the level of greatness and the MVPs and the rings, it's cool to see, and it's cool to see it in a personal way. Because I ended up developing a little bit of relationship like Chris and some of the guys, but it was cool to see like the human side of them and not just seeing what you see on TV or ESPN or Instagram or whatever. So TNT, right?
Yeah, they talk to them and interview them.
Exactly. So it's cool to see a different side of that and get to see those guys go to work and get to see those guys drop 40 balls. And it was a fun time. It was short-lived, but it was definitely a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we went out there, us and our little friend group, we were always asking, like, what does Kevin Durant do? What does Kevin Durant do? You were locker mates with him. You sat right next to him, and you were like, no one knows. Like,
bro, he's still a mysterious guy. Like, I'm sure, like, don't get me wrong, like, he has his group, his friend group, but, like, he still has that, like, Kevin Durant mystique to him where it's like, do you really tweet your shit? But like it's times I'm on the trainer table and he'll be next to me and I'll just look over that way and he'll really be on Twitter, he'll really be tweeting or this stuff. So it's just like, dog, that's what you see, the Kevin Durant that you see, at least the one I'm saying that it was being hilarious on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. That's who you got, bro. Like he seemed like a solid ass guy. Approachable, easy to talk to.
Yeah.
We were in there talking about just music and
but didn't you say he's 24? Yeah, didn't you say but he is like 24/7 basketball. Like
24/7
like
basketball.
He's about getting better.
Yeah.
He's about
every time I saw him, he was looking at like film. And like other people's games, like I'm like, okay, so he's definitely on. He doesn't miss anything, bro. That's probably why he's as funny as he is, because he's living in that moment. Just like, okay, I'm watching this, and that. So, and then Book was amazing. Book was fucking probably the coldest shooting guard I've ever seen or played with. That dude is fucking uber talented, bro. And he's just solid ass guy, easy to talk to, funny as shit. Which nowadays with Ubers.
Yeah, I mean, but during that playoff run, he was actually insane.
It was
unreal, he didn't, and it kind of sucks because, you know, I felt like that was you know, your real title shot chance, and it just felt like, obviously now that we see what's going on in the NBA right now, it just didn't feel like Kevin Durant was ready yet, and like now you see like he is playing at an MVP caliber right now, and the Suns are looking really scary, like.
Yeah, so I mean, it just wasn't enough time. It's a lot to throw at any coach at any caliber. You get Kevin Durant at the deadline, well, you're gonna try to figure out like, how do I maximize this? And it's not an easy task, bro. It's not. A lot of people don't win that way. Like, to get a Hall of Famer and you still win with him during the break, like that's tough, and especially with all the expectations. Like, people want you to figure it out. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
So I mean, like, man, like how the things went. How the way that things ended, is there anything that you would change in like how it all went, man? I mean, you it's a journey. It was literally a journey.
No, man, honestly, I can't say I would. I mean, I made a good amount of money. I am respectively healthy enough to where like I don't have to worry about anything too far down the road. Like, besides my back, Nah, I mean, I still, you know, my knees are feeling a little better. My feet are still beat, but like that's gonna get better with time. But I mean, I can still run around my kids and hang around and be the young dad and enjoy.
Yeah, you could still windmill dunk the basketball.
No, bro, I can't.
You can dunk easy.
Dog, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think within the last like year or two, like almost like overnight, bro, real fast. Like it just, everything from like the knees down just start like not shutting down, but then I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel this next day, and wow, like even ice baths, all that shit was starting not to work. So I'm like, oh, this is I got it. I don't want to run these things into the dirt, but yeah, man, I value my health. I do not want to be. If you see some of these old hoopers now walking around,
they're beat. Their knees are done.
Oh, bro, knees are done. Giraffes on stilts. Just any second, you're just going down, and you're gonna need a hip replacement. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not. I need to save some of the youth. And
this is insight to Terrence though. This guy, I think he should first of all be sponsored by Coca-Cola double stuffed Oreos, because and Pizza Hut, because
not pizza as much. I love my pizza.
You do, because every time I came to Arizona, there was always a box there that'd been there for a week, because you'd go on the road and leave it. But I mean, you did drink soda for a good amount of time.
I know that's my
and Oreos. But it just also shows you that
Oreos. That was my thing in higy school. I used to love Oreos. Don't I still eat Oreos. Like, not bro. Everybody remembers me back in high school from like, oh, we got a game today. Okay, let me run to the store. Like, 'cause I remember especially before you had got to Jeff, bro. I would go to the corner store.
Casey's.
And I would grab Casey's. I would grab. They had these giant Hot Pockets, a sleeve of Oreos, and like a 1 liter Pepsi. And that's what I would. And back in the day, for $5, you can get all that, and I would go straight to the game. Sure. I'm like, because I'm not eating until later tonight, so whatever I get, bro, I need to make this stretch. So that's when motherfuckers would see me walking into the gym with a fucking Pepsi, some Oreos, and I'm finna go out there and windmill and get 30. So yeah, man, old habits kind of die off, but they definitely died. They died hard.
It also. All right, last thing. I just kind of, you got a chance to go to a ton of different cities and experience a ton of different things. I just kind of want to go. We're gonna go through just top 3 cities in these different categories. Okay. So this is just kind of off the top. So let's go. First one. Let's go top 3 party cities, and we can do NBA cities. So NBA cities, top 3 party cities. That where you come in with your team and it's like, we're for sure going out.
LA,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
LA for sure. Miami and New York. Those are top 3. But it's weird because, I would say that now, especially because being biased, like, of course, I live in Toronto. I'm going to go out in Toronto. And then if I played anywhere else, like, I knew people to go out. So it was easier for me to do stuff in Toronto. But nah, I would say those are definitely top 3. And then Toronto's probably 4.
Off the top of your head, can you give us a wild, like, what?
A wild story.
Yeah, like a wild.
Yes.
Like, what it like? I mean, you can keep it like. I mean, you don't have to put names, but like team base. Is there like nights where it's like 100 bottles or something crazy where you were just kind of before you really were like in that scene of like doing that when you like what was your like coming to the kind of like you're coming to the NBA moment, but like coming to the club moment.
Coming to the club moment.
Where you're like, whoa, this is different than Vancouver, Washington. We're getting Taco Bell. Doing nothing on a Friday night.
I mean, honestly. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll give you a story. It was 2013, 2014. It's summertime. I'm living in Santa Monica. Remember when I lived in Santa Monica, right across like the beach? The GTA apartment.
Yeah.
Well, I was living there. Yeah, we used to pull up right there. So I was probably like in Santa Monica, probably 30 minutes away from Calabasas, right? So I get an invite to go to Drake's party at his compound in Calabasas, and it was me and Noah. This is right after. This is sometime in the summer. I don't know if I just won the dunk contest the year before or whatever. So we head out to Calabasas, me and the homie, pull up to like this gated ranch community. We drive up and we find our way to his house, bro. Just cars everywhere. Down these long ranch driveway, just everywhere, right? We pull up and there's just Rolls Royces, Phantoms, Ferraris, all types of crazy shit. We get in there, bro. It is like an amusement park for adults. Like it was unreal. And first of all, like his house is huge. Like he has a compound, so he has like a few different houses. His main house, a massive pool, grotto, cliff, anything going. When we pull up, it's like a whole bunch of celebrities in there. And you know me, bro. Like I'm just a fly on the wall type of guy. Like I was like, oh damn, this is way more than I thought it was going to be, and I already thought it was going to be OD, right? So, I'm getting there. I'm just walking around, say what's up to Drake, and I mean, he was hanging out like the game, and like I think KD was there. KD was for sure there. He was hanging out with him. They were just a whole bunch of people just kicking it. I said what's up to him. I'm not in the mix. I'm just hanging around, sitting around, and then me just walking around, and then it got to a point where I had been drinking. And I'm standing next to like Drake and all, and I'm drinking, and all I hear is like Drake say something like, KD, I bet you $5K right now that T-Ross can outshoot you. Bro, when he said that, I was like, it almost took a second to process because I was like, this is not happening. But then somebody said something like, nah, I'll shoot him too. And, and so it turned into me, the game, KD, and Drake all up here at his basketball hoop, like on the hill at his house. Everybody standing around, music playing. Somehow I'm still drinking. And they start throwing money down at the 3-point line. Like, all right, shot for shot. Let's go. 5 shots. I'm like, bro, now I put the drink down because I'm realized, oh, there's money.
I got to shoot.
I got to shoot now. So I put the drink down. And, bro, I'm just like already just like, ooh, just double vision a little bit. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be real bad. I was like, can I get some warm-up shots? And they were like, yeah, take a couple, bro. First one, backboard. I was like,
yeah.
And then it was like, no, he's good. I was just like, oh, damn. And I was like, just give me one more. I hit the front of the rim on the second one. I was like, I think I'm calibrated. Bro, KD goes up. I think he misses his first one. I make the first one. I was just like, oh, shit. I was like, ah. And then
people are going crazy.
And then Drake's like hyping people up and shit. And then I shoot another one. He shoots another one. I think he makes it. I don't even know what he might have made it or not, but I remember it got to the point where after the third shot, I missed everything, and then KD just got hot
and
he
made
just,
everything.
4 for 5. He might have gone 4 for 5, and I went like two for 5, and I was like, all I remember was like I see everybody picking up the buddy. I was just like, I hope that I don't owe nobody no money because I do not have it on me right now because that is crazy. After that, I felt embarrassed, bro. I kind of just after I missed the last three, I felt like I had to get up shots now. I picked the ball up, shot a couple more. Then I just remember everybody walking off, and I just stayed up there. I was just like, oh, goddamn. I embarrassed myself. And that was my Drake story.
That's crazy.
I got a couple more Drake stories, but that one to me was unreal.
That's unreal.
I was still like 22 or something.
All right, let's go. Last two things. We got what top 3 worst arenas to play in?
Top 3 worst arenas. I would say one, definitely number 1 was Safeco Sleep Train out in Sacramento. The old Sacramento arena was horrible. I mean, it was bad, bro. Like the locker room was small. I don't want to say as small as the room I'm in now, but maybe like a room and a half bigger than this. Maybe like a half a room bigger than this, bro. And the roof was like slanted in at the where the trainer table was, so it was like you kind of had to like get there and squish in and shit. And I'm just like in my head, I'm thinking like, there's no way Shaq and Kobe were freaking elbow to elbow in here. Like it just didn't make sense. But and like their arena had like wooden stands, so you could hear every single thing going on. It was just horrible. That was bad. Top 3 worst. Charlotte. It's just nobody ever shows up. Nobody ever comes to the games, bro. That was.
That might be a weird feeling too, though. I mean, you play so many games. And there's so many games that are packed, and then there's then you show up to someone.
But you know what games are going to be like that before you get there. Charlotte's always one of them games. Charlotte feels like the consolation game at an AAU tournament where you show up at 9:00 in the morning and nobody's really there.
It's like the NIT.
Yeah, like, but you know the primetime game is tonight. Like it was like that. So nobody. It's probably why Jason Tatum said that about about the Hornets and they end up losing. But that's essentially where there's. And then to me, New Orleans. New Orleans.
You just don't like New Orleans. You just don't like New Orleans.
No, it's just I don't like the arena, bro. Like the arena.
Well, yeah.
Every time I went in there, it's not like it was like it has to be next to a sewer, open sewer. Like when they open the garage, they just catch the entire drift. Just comes into the arena. I'm just like, bro, I'm about to throw up.
Bro, that's everything out there.
There was 2 years ago. We're about to get on the bus to go to the game. Like everybody has their moments, like their bus times to leave. I'm getting on the bus, and then they send a text message to the team like, "Oh, we all have to stay for an extra hour because the entire arena just lost power and they need to get some backup generators." I was like, "This is so ghetto." I'm like, "This shit is about to get." Why are the lights always going off in this city? It happened in the Super Bowl, and then the power goes off while people are warming up for the game. It's just like I just wasn't a fan of it.
And all right, then now top 3 best ones. I mean, obviously there's some easy picks, but like for you personally, what were
you talking about best or favorite?
Let's go with your favorite.
Madison Square Garden.
Is there somewhere you always played well?
The Garden.
Yeah.
Not always, but I had some 25 balls. I don't know if I ever had a 30 ball in the Garden, but I definitely had some killer games there. Honestly, TD Garden in Boston.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like it as much as I do, but I do. I always felt like I had good games there, and I definitely remember a few times, like a bunch of times where you beat the Celtics on their court. So that to me is special.
It's a pretty cool place. I got to go there for the finals when Ime was coaching there. And it's pretty crazy.
No, it's historic. It got a lot of history to it.
It's got a lot of history, even though it's old. But it's just like the fans are crazy. Like you have rowdy fans that are like actually invested. When they're invested in the game, it makes it way different.
Staples, and then I cannot say Orlando. Amway was one of my favorite arenas even before I got to Orlando. So like that, it's just for the time it was really, really nice. It is really nice. But there's a lot of this, bro. Any arena that was built in the last 5 years is unreal. Even Sacramento Kings have an unreal location. So
you didn't. There was no changes in locations when you first were in the NBA, was there? No.
No.
Memphis was already there.
Yeah, Memphis, OKC was there.
OKC
there was no changes. There was no changes.
No changes. So
Charlotte was still there.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, congratulations on a great career. You know, happy for you. It's awesome to watch you, you know, obviously grow as a player, and as you know, as a good friend of yours, it was a fun experience. And thank you for everything you did for me while you're in your NBA. I got to experience things that a lot of people didn't get to do because you know you had that place, and you know, congratulations on a long time, and you know, now happy for retirement. And you know, there's a lot of other things, you know, podcasting. There's a lot of other things that are going to be coming your way, man.
Yeah, I actually signed up for because I mean, for the next 2 years, year and a half, we'll see. I definitely just want to relax and just kind of be in the moment. But I definitely signed up for a broadcasting analytic class that the NBA offers. I just want to keep my foot in the door and just keep a relationship with the NBA because it is NBA. So as long as I can be around, who knows where I might pop up. But you know me, like this, we already do podcasts, so this is not too far out of the realm of things I do. I stream, probably do that a little bit more, but
join me on the media side, buddy.
I know.
Calling live games, it's a different animal, but it's fun.
I know. So we'll see how that goes, man.
All right, man. Well, we'll be back. You know, we're gonna start doing this more regularly. Get back on it. You guys will be able to hear from us, and we'll talk more, and we'll catch y'all later.
Peace.
Morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the show, what a wonderful delight. Yeah, Patsy and T-Rods better chop up on the mic. Just sit back, have a laugh, catch a vibe, and enjoy the ride. Yeah.